last one I want to bring you because there's a developing story in the science community. It's happening right now. There's a rare geomagnetic storm occurring.
A powerful solar storm hit Earth today, and aside from the amazing images,
Pat, a severe solar storm smacked the Earth with a surprisingly big geomagnetic jolt on Tuesday, but no damage has been reported. The storm ranked a 4 on a scale of 5. 2 magnetic plasma bursts left the sun on Sunday and got to Earth about 15 hours earlier and much stronger than had been expected.
A cool sighting over Switzerland and Austria last night. Check it out. What appears to be a meteor is caught on camera streaking across the sky. That's amazing.
Some people in Europe had a spectacular view this morning if the clouds didn't get in the way. A total solar eclipse took place.
We've entered the peak of the eclipse. I have to say there's an eerie darkness that has descended on parts of the capital.
On the ground on the Faroe Isles, day turns to night. Those watching plunged into darkness.
Millions of people in more than a dozen countries stopped what they were doing and looked up. A black hole in the sky, offering a rare glimpse at the sun's outer atmosphere.
There it is, the diamond ring.
A solar eclipse coming at the same time as a supermoon, the closest it gets to the Earth, and the vernal equinox, the first day of spring. A rare cosmic coincidence.
A new mystery tonight. Wildlife resource officers are trying to figure out why dozens of birds dropped dead out of the sky at the same time in Spring Hill. It was an eerie scene, as you can see here, with more than 50 birds on the road. Wildlife officers bagged some birds and took samples, but they say they've never seen anything like this.
Pictures show some of the thousands of snow geese found dead in eastern Idaho. The carcasses stretched for dozens of acres and were first noticed on Friday.
There's no doubt that 2,000 birds died there.
I'm up every day and think that's the end of it, and I wake up the next morning and look out and there's another 50, 60, 70.
This woman says hundreds of dead fish are popping up along the shore outside her home.
Teresa Williams has lived in the Bridgewater neighborhood for about 11 years, but for the past week or so, she says she's been waking up to an unpleasant sight.
Something fishy is happening on the beaches of the Outer Banks. Lots of fish, and a lot of you are talking about it. 10 of your side viewers emailed us dozens of pictures of dead fish along the shoreline. So what is going on?
Another mystery of sorts, the whereabouts of Vladimir Putin. Just this morning, the Russian president made his first public appearance in nearly 2 weeks, but did he shed any light on where he's been?
Russia has kicked off massive 5-day military drills amid spiraling tensions with the West over the crisis in Ukraine.
Стратегических ракетоносцев, которые вылетели с аэродрома в Энгельсе. Их маршруты фиксировались средствами десантники Костромского и Ивановского соединения. Сложности не только из-за непростых климатических условий. Совершила многокилометровый бросок и заняла назначенную... Представлять Ростов, вспомним, как было непросто, линии 90-е, борзая опора...
NATO fighter jets are landing in Estonia for large-scale military exercises, which the U.S. and several European countries are conducting near the Russian border.
Pope Francis marks the second anniversary of his surprise election by predicting that he will not be pope for much longer.
Francis predicts his pontificate will only last about 2 or 3 more years.
Tonight, an 11-member task force is telling President Obama how police departments across the country must change. He asked for the recommendations after the shooting death of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, and the choking death of Eric Garner in New York.
The Task Force on 21st Century Policing offered a wide range of suggestions on training and deadly force, but most of the recommendations boil down to one thing: trust.
It will be good for police, and it will be good for the communities involved, and as a consequence, it will be good for the country. The moment is now for us to make these changes. That we have a great opportunity coming out of some great conflict and tragedy to really transform how we think about community law enforcement relations so that everybody feels safer.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're wondering what DeKalb Police Department is doing with your taxpayers' dollar and how they're protecting and serving today, this is it. They are progressing their militarized agenda. They are currently training in these abandoned houses.
Upon an evacuation notice, the subdivision of Overton, the residents chose not to leave. So we are doing a door-to-door wellness check. We're going to perform a health and wellness check and just ask them if they need food, water, if anybody in the house is sick or injured. Come on up.
Feel like it.
Yep, I'm doing fine.
Well, great. That's great to hear, sir.
Appreciate you coming by. Good.
We appreciate you, and thanks for participating.
Yep.
I'm here to talk about a massive military drill that will be conducted on American soil from July 15th to September 15th of this year. U.S. Army Special Operations Command calls this operation Jade Helm 1-5. Texas and Utah have been painted red, and the legend states that red is a hostile area. Now, why is the federal government calling Utah and Texas hostile?
Now, secondly, however, as I have gotten older, I have decided we really need camps for adults. And we need the kind of camps that you all run. I mean, really.
Breaking news from Missouri. The St. Louis County Police Chief moments ago talking to reporters, revealing they have several leads tonight after 2 police officers were ambushed. It all happened this week after the Ferguson police chief resigned and that peaceful protest that suddenly took a turn. Gunfire erupting, protesters and police running for cover, hiding behind the brick wall there. And when it was over, that image of one of the officers down.
The words come after a tense 24-hour manhunt, authorities digging for clues to track down the gunman who shot 2 police officers.
Alicia Turner was inside the home with her 6-year-old son and 2 acquaintances when police showed up and took the adults in for questioning. All 3 were released without being arrested or charged. Now the Turner family says police owe them an apology and much more.
He thinking something gonna happen to me. He is afraid.
Irisha Turner is talking about her 6-year-old son, MJ, who she says was traumatized by watching police with guns swarm his family's home and take his mother away in handcuffs.
Had to talk him off under a bed last night.
Turner tells me she was at the protest early Thursday morning when the 2 officers were shot. She says after the gunfire, she ran to her car, which was parked close to where the gunman opened fire.
They said I sped off on the scene, but everybody sped off. People was running, people was, ducking.
A few hours later, police had surrounded Turner's home, saying they wanted to ask her some questions. They even broke into the attic. Turner says she was treated more like a suspect the entire time.
Flared tempers tonight after a deputy shoots a man in the face in Deltona. Critics in the community think that deputy was out of line. Today they were demanding answers from the sheriff.
There's no advancement. There was no reaching for anything. The guy was wearing basketball shorts like I am,
These are several of the 4 men and 2 women in the house when SWAT arrived. They didn't want to give their names, but say their friend was not armed, didn't charge the deputy or challenge him with a weapon.
They entered the house and fired immediately.
He didn't have a weapon on him?
No, sir. There's no weapons in the house. They came in with a certain intent and purpose, and they met their goal.
When police officers are wearing camouflage, it sends a very clear message to the community that they're supposed to be serving. It also affects the mindset of the police officer himself. The idea that when we take domestic police officers, and we train them like soldiers, and we give them military gear, and we dress them up like soldiers.
Prominent academic and author Dr. Michelle Chossudovsky warned that the so-called war on terrorism is a front to propagate America's global hegemony and create a new world order.
St. Louis High School is one of the first in the nation to have a new kind of security.
Facial recognition cameras scan people's faces as they try to get in the building. If you're not on their system, you can't get in.
Come into this door, walk through, look at the camera.
His face is recognized and he's allowed in.
Recognize my face, the light goes on, and then I can open the door.
There's controversy at a high school during the Pledge of Allegiance. A lesson on language turns into questions about patriotism. CBS 2's Lou Young reports on a school divided.
Tonight, our country's symbol of freedom has been taken down by the student government at UC Irvine because it makes them more culturally inclusive. That move has sparked huge debate tonight, including at the school's sister campus, UC San Diego.
Last week, the Legislative Council at UC Irvine voted to ban all flags, including the American flag, from hanging in common areas of any student government offices, a decision that has left many veterans dumbfounded.
It's preposterous. You know, I can't understand it.
Time to wake up, America. If you just stepped foot on Earth and saw what was going on in America, there's a good chance you'd think we were enemies with Israel and allies with Iran. This week, President O finally picked up the phone to congratulate the Prime Minister on his re-election. Then President Obama dropped a bomb. He added a warning to Netanyahu: play ball with me or else. In fact, the Obama administration is considering taking actions against Israel, our greatest ally.
My name is John Yarmuth of Kentucky. Gathered with me are colleagues, all of whom opposed the appearance of Prime Minister Netanyahu today.
Congressman John Yarmuth of Kentucky is here to tell us why he chose to stay away.
What I objected to was the fact that he pulled out the Dick Cheney playbook, used fear-mongering, made statements that are totally unsupportable. Those are, again, scaremongering tactics that don't advance the dialogue. And I knew he was going to do that, and that's one of the reasons I objected to the speech.
My 18 years of law enforcement, I haven't seen this.
Pile-ups stranded hundreds, creating traffic nightmares that made national headlines. Cars stuck, abandoned, turning a busy highway into an eerie graveyard.
The line of stranded tractor-trailers stretched down the highway for 40 miles. Icy roast caused several accidents that shut down 2 major highways in Kentucky, stranding more than 600 vehicles overnight.
This is the second such declaration in less than a month.
Man, I'm going to tell you right now, I just feel the fire of God on me right now, like so bad, man. I've been talking to people, and I told you guys about the dream that I had, you know, a couple months ago. I seen fire falling from heaven, and in each state there was like an individual there waiting for the fire of God to fall on them. I'm telling you right now, there is a move of God coming, man. I feel the power and the Holy Ghost on me so strong, and God is about to bring the backsliders back. There is an army rising up. There is an army rising up, and I'm telling you right now, you want to be a part of it. Because you know what? The enemy's trying to move too. Man, look at the news. Look at the evilness that is going on in this world. Look at the corruption. Look at the gay marriage. Look at these young people disrespecting elders, beating up elders for no reason. People jumping people. Look at the violence that is shared all across Facebook and WorldStar to the point where you're getting desensitized. Look at just the gay people just trying to invade everything. Everything. The devil's voice is loud and clear, and he's trying to defy God stronger than ever before. You guys think that I'm the only one who's fired up for God? No, I'm telling you, there's people all over the world. God is raising up an army, and it is about to be crazy. This earth is about to be shook. There is an army that is rising up. You need to be a part of it. Soldier up, man up. Make up your mind that you're going to be sold out for Jesus. Don't let the devil punk you. Don't let nobody else make you feel ashamed.